Okay, this is how to set your backswing up to make the transition as easy as possible. It's going to go starting from address, and we're going to talk about some specific things as we're getting to the top of the backswing. So when I get set in here, I want a couple things in address. You have to pay attention to where your pressure is in your feet, okay? That's going to be a big thing as we get to the top. For example, if I'm starting too much in my heels with a little bit too much sit, typically when I see that pattern, the person's also going to be reaching to offset. So if I put mass or weight back here, right, and my heels, if I reach the club, then I'm sort of going to feel balanced, but that's not the type of balance we're looking for. I want you to be more in the middle of your feet, and that's going to give us a chance to make a backswing more efficient, okay? If I start in my heels, I have no incentive to stay there, right? Does that make sense? So if I start here, I'm not going to go more there. I'm going to start there, and then as I go back, I'm going to go, okay, where's the middle? Then you're going to start moving into the ball early, and then typically we're going to see that pattern continue right into impact. What I'd like to see is you get into a nice setup position. This is my favorite one for setup. So I go hands on my tailbone just like this. Good neutral rib position, small knee flex, and then a small push through my hips. And then I know my ribs are in a good position, my shoulders are in a good position, and my hands are in a good position. So that's my setup position. If you do that and you feel like, oh, wow, I'm a lot closer to the ball, or I'm a lot further from the ball, it's a nice way to reference, and to just stand, check it in a mirror. You get into that setup position, just take a look how you look, and you'll notice also you'll feel much more in the middle of your feet, okay? So I'm nice and balanced in the middle of my feet, good posture. From there, as I'm taking it away, okay, I'm gonna get a good amount of reach through this lead side, not a ton of club face rotation, not a ton of hip rotation. There's gonna be a little bit, I'm not restricting it. It's just I'm working on reaching across, okay? And then as I work on loading from there, I'm gonna let my chest stay sitting down as I keep pushing this lead hip across into this trail hip, okay? So if I'm a guy who has a tough time getting loaded up and making that effortless swing, typically I'm gonna see this lead knee be a bit too passive, and then they get here, they're already in a sort of a forward position, and then they're gonna have to create a lot of compensations coming into the ball. So if I get that nice reach across, let that lead hip and lead knee sort of drift, so now I'm set, so I'm loaded up, I got a nice amount of tension sort of in that trail muscle, glute, okay? So as I do it, when I do this, if I do it properly, I'm gonna feel a ton of tension sort of right there, okay? I'm gonna feel a bit of stretch across this lead side, a bit into the lead shoulder, and then as I start to let it out, I'm gonna keep creating more stretch, and then I'm gonna be able to deliver that strike, okay? So quick summary, make sure you're starting in the middle of the feet. If we go the other way, if we're too much on the toes, typically we'll drop to the heels too quickly. If we're too much on the heels, we'll sort of work out of the heels into the toes. Both not ideal patterns. So we wanna start hands on the tailbone, shoulders in good position, a little bit of a bend through the pelvis. As you reach back, creating a little bit of stretch, let that lead hip and lead knee drift to help you load up that glute. And then as we go down, we're gonna keep that stretch, and then we're able to deliver a strike.